Alright, so how's everyone feeling in their bodies? Is there anything that calls out to you that you'd like to work on today? Anything you'd like to stretch out, or a pose that you'd like to practice, or anything like that? Just let me know in the comments now. Or at any point in class if something comes up. That way I can work it into our sequence today. We're going to start just in a couple minutes. And what we do here is we practice connecting breath, mind, and body through the practice of yoga and intro to meditation. So really what we're doing is dharana, practicing focusing the mind on one thing. So we're building up that discipline, that attention, single point attention. And the layout of class looks like seated grounding meditation or grounding practice. Then we'll go into the movement part. That looks weird. Hey, morning Ben, welcome in. How are you doing today, friend? Then we'll go into the yoga movement, functional movement, lymphatic shaking, part of class. That'll be like the biggest chunk. And then we'll end with a nice long shavasana final relaxation pose. That'll be with a little sound bowl healing. So I have a friend that I bumped into on the walk home from the grocery store, and I had reached out to her about asking where she got her crystal bowls, because she has this beautiful set of crystal singing bowls. And she was like, oh, if you want to like hang out with mine, she's like, I'll just lend them to you so you can see if you like them before you buy them. So next week we're having dinner or lunch, we'll see. And she's gonna lend me her crystal singing bowls so I can play them for you guys. So I'm really excited. Yeah, so that'll be really fun to share with you all. Pause this. Oh no. Yeah, and she has a whole bunch of them, so I don't know if she's gonna just lend me one, or I know my ghost foof. I don't know if she's just gonna lend me one, or if she's going to lend me the whole set. But either way, I think it's gonna be really fun. So I'm just working out a date, like a date with her for the actual trade. So it should be dope. Yeah, we'll get Ghost Foof to be our test subject for sure. So today we still have metallic, what's it called, Tibetan singing bowls. Oh look, we don't have our yoga mat set up. So let's all get our yoga mat set up here, or blanket, or towel, basically place to practice. All right. So let's pause. Draft. Love that album. Okay, cool. So we're getting started in a moment. Let me take this little countdowner off because we are starting right now, baby. Oh yeah. Oh. There we go. So everything that I lead you through is an invitation. So roll through the class at the speed that works for you. Aim to connect your breath to your movement. So I'll be leading you through poses by saying inhale and exhale, and if it's your starting point, then you can work on syncing to my words, but eventually we'll connect with our own breaths, and all be going at our own pace, and that's really beautiful too. That's something to work towards. And don't get hung up on how it looks. It's not a dance class. It is a yoga practice. So your body doesn't have to be in the exact shape that my body's in or anything like that. I just want you to physically feel better stepping off the mat than you did stepping on. Emotionally and mentally, whatever shows up, shows up. Don't get hung up on having to feel any certain type of way either. So, we'll get started seated. So I like to sit in Sukhasana, easy sitting pose. That's cross-legged. Cross-legged. I like to sit up just on a little blanket, just gets my hips a little higher in relation to my knees. But if you're sitting in a chair, that's totally beautiful and totally welcome. And the important thing is to just be seated up tall, like there's a string pulling you up from the crown of your head towards the sky, heart over hips, head over heart. Silence your devices. Just give yourself a moment here without any notifications. Hands come to rest on the lap, either palms down to ground down, or palms up to give and receive energy if you feel you've got a little extra to give today. Eyes can close if that's comfortable for you, or just lower them to a soft gaze just beyond your legs, not looking at anything in particular, just allowing them to rest. And we'll start with 3 cleansing breaths. In through the nose, shoulders rise up towards the ears, and an audible sigh out through the mouth, shoulders drop away. And allow the breath to continue in and out through the nose, if that's available, returning to a natural pace. And we'll take a moment here just to arrive. Let go of everything that came before and everything that's to come up after. And become present to yourself here in this space, here in this moment. Begin to allow sounds into your awareness. And perhaps the sounds are distant or within the room or home. Allowing all sounds in. Notice the temperature of the air on your skin. And feel the weight where your body makes contact with the ground below you. The weight of your hands on your knees. And we'll begin to scan the body, Annamaya Kosha. First, getting a general sense of how your body feels in this moment. And then beginning to scan from head down towards toes. checking in for any places of tightness or sensitivity, any restlessness or fidgeting. Make these observations without judgment. Use this information to work into those places that call out for your attention during your movement practice today. And we'll shift the awareness and the attention up to pranamaya kosha, the energetic level, noticing where you're at on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being exhausted, fatigued, ready for bed. 10 being so full of energy it's hard to sit still. And shifting the awareness to the breath. No need to change it, just observe. Inhalations, exhalations, and whatever space in between. And moving the attention up to manamaya kosha, the level of the mind. Allow thoughts and feelings to arise freely. And observe them from a distance. No need to engage, no need to filter or judge. Just allow them to float by like clouds passing in the sky. Notice what are the quality of the thoughts today. Do they have a positive or a negative tilt to them? Are they ruminating on the past or attempting to predict the future? Not good or bad, not right or wrong, just something to notice. We'll bring that attention back down to the breath. This time actively expanding the breath. Every inhale sips in a little more air, and every exhale lets something more go. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Inhale fills belly like a balloon inflating. Belly and ribs expand. And on the exhales, belly button pulls in towards spine. Slow, deep belly breaths here. We'll layer on our Ujjayi Pranayama, our breathing exercise this month, victorious breath, or it's also known as ocean sounding breath, by bringing a slight constriction to the throat so that your breath actually becomes audible on the inhale and especially on the exhale, like waves lapping up to shore. It's almost like you're trying to fog up a mirror just beyond your face using just your nose. Mindful that this isn't affecting your shoulders, like still breathing deeply into the belly. We're not allowing the shoulders to bring up the charge with the breath here at all. We're still keeping the belly deep, diaphragmatic, and belly breathing. Keep the breaths long and deep. Keep the breath slow and allow space between top and bottom teeth as the jaw relaxes and hangs heavy. A surefire way of deepening the breath is making sure, being mindful to completely exhale all the air out of the lungs. With each round, aiming for a more empty set of lungs on the exhale and a fuller inhale. When your mind wanders, bring it back to the breath. And on your next exhale, release any constriction from the throat, release that pranayama, any efforting from the breath, allowing your breath to return to a natural pace and rhythm. Perhaps affected by that pranayama, by that breathing exercise. Ujjayi Pranayama helps deepen our relationship to the breath so that we might be able to work with the breath as a tool during life off the mat to help calm the nerves, warm the body, and take us out of that fight or flight sympathetic mode into the parasympathetic rest and digest mode. Allow your hands to come to heart center, palms pressed together in Anjali Mudra. No space between the fingers and thumbs pressed into the sternum. Consider here setting an intention or a dedication for your practice, your reason for showing up and staying on the mat today. The invitation is just to set it in the present and affirmative tense. So, for example, it might sound something like, I flow through life with ease and grace. And we'll set that intention with the sound of Om. You're invited, of course, to chant with me. First, a cleansing breath. Allow your hands to release down to your lap, chin drops towards chest. And on an inhale, right ear rolls over towards right shoulder. Good morning, weird moves. Hello, hello. Exhaling, chin to chest, and left ear towards left shoulder. Just allowing your head to gently roll side to side as we begin to invite movement into the body. And the next time the head rolls through center, bring it up to neutral and begin to roll the shoulders forward. Your eyes can still be closed for this part as you know exactly what to do. You can really just tune into your upper back and that space between the shoulder blades here. And we'll roll the shoulders back, changing direction. Coming to stillness in the shoulders. We'll inhale, arms sweep up overhead. And exhale, shoulders melt away. Right hand drops down and the left arm reaches over on the inhale, breathing into the side ribs, intercostal muscles. Keep the left hip glued to the ground for the side bend. And exhale through center. Inhaling over to the left. Right hip stays glued to the ground, right arms really reaching over. And exhale, center. So we're beginning to connect this breath with movement. Already warm. From the Ujjayi Prana, from our breathing technique. And the sun came out too, it came out early. Inhaling to the side. And exhaling to center. Inhale left. Exhale center. Once more to each side here, calibrating breath and body. Allow the speed of the body to be informed by the length of your breath. And the next time we're in center, we'll take a deep breath in, reaching tall. And exhale to the right. Left hand lands on right knee, right hand lands behind you. And twisting the chest open towards the side wall. And inhale back up through center. Exhale to the left. And inhale center. So we're not going for the deepest twist of your life or any personal records or anything like that. You're just waking the spine up to this movement, to this motion, this direction of movement. We just got one more to each side, allowing your body to flow with the breath. So the transition from posture to posture is just as important as arriving or being in the position. Arms back up through center. Then we'll bend in the elbows, hands come about shoulder height. Just give them a wave. We'll begin to warm up the hands and wrists, all the tendons, ligaments, and muscles around them before putting any weight on them. Palms slip down towards the ground. Fingers wiggle side to side. So we're not moving the elbows, we're just moving the fingers and the hands. We're still breathing in and out through the nose if that's available to you. And we're still breathing into the belly. So just notice, we're just going to keep checking in. If the breath starts coming up into the shoulders or the chest, see if you can reroute it to deep belly breathing. Palms slip up towards the sky. It's like you're trying to get your fingernails to touch your forearm. Really reach back here, fingers spread wide. And we'll shake off water nice and gentle. Three, two, one. Okay. Working on a bit of neck resiliency here. Let's bring our fingers to jawline. So just below your ears where your jaw ends. Seated up tall. You can bring the fingers out about an inch. And then we'll work on sliding the head side to side. So mindful here, we're not turning the head and we're not raising the shoulders. Shoulders stay relaxed, head stays facing forward, and we're just sliding the head. So we're opening probably very likely new patterns in your cervical spine. So if you can't reach, just bring your fingers in closer. And of course, in a way we are multitasking because we are breathing fully. So as we're trying something new or something challenging, we hold the breath. And the invitation here is to breathe through all the challenge. Practice breathing through these circumstances and challenges in your life. 3, 2, 1. All right. So you can drop ear to shoulder, ear to shoulder. Shake that off. And we'll work on our forward neck rolls. So I'm just going to turn to the side so you can see what it looks like, but you can stay facing forward if that makes more sense for you. We're just staying up, seated up tall. From the shoulders down, nothing's really happening. It's all a movement of the head and neck. It's like you're leading with your nose. Chin tucks down towards chest. And then we roll up, reach the nose all the way down, the head all the way down, and forward, 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 up towards the sky, back, and then chin tucks back in towards chest. We smooth this motion out. Slow and smooth movements here. So a friend taught me this when I was having really bad neck pain to the point of having migraines from looking down all day at my desk. And this movement really helped realign, release some tension, and build some strength at points of weakness in my cervical spine and my neck that were actually leading to or allowing that pain and pressure to accumulate. And then we'll change directions. So chin will reach up, forward, down, and then chin pulls in. Finish up the cycle that you're on. Bring it to center. Good morning, Oya Hydrangea. All right, you just shake that out. How are you? Welcome in. If you're sitting on anything, you just place it to the side. Let's bring the legs out in front if you haven't already. And spread and scrunch the toes. Waking up the lower legs, roll out the ankles here. Right, so I brought this up a bit in Wednesday's class, but a couple people have reached out to me, and I'm sure that more than a couple people have been experiencing like their legs falling asleep in that beginning part of class. Let's change directions of the ankles, and that is totally normal. Probably not used to sitting cross-legged for like 20 minutes or half an hour, and we're just working up to that stillness during the meditation part. So after we chant Om and all of that, you can just work towards getting up to that point. Let's bring the feet in, knees bent, and just allow the knees to fall side to side. So that first kind of like milestone would be working towards keeping the legs crossed up until we chant Om, right? Set that intention, which is in itself already at 10-12 minutes. So that's pretty, can be pretty intense to be in Sukhasana in that cross-legged position. And then from there you might change the orientation of your legs or let the legs come out straight in front of you while we start working on the side bends and like the spinal wake-up, spinal resiliency work. Let's see, next time the knees fall over to the right, we'll keep them there, and the right hand comes down close to the hip. Let's just do some hip opening here. The left arm sweeps up as the hips rise, chest rises as well for the inhale, and exhale, hips touch down, left hand lands by the hip. Knees come over to the left, right arm sweeps open, hips and chest rise. So we're just working on opening this whole front side body. Exhaling back through center. And we'll sweep it over to the other side. Inhale to rise. Exhale back through to the other side. We'll do one more on each side, but this time when you lift over here to the right, let's just give 3 big backstrokes in the arm. Still breathing fully just to wake up the shoulder a bit. Hips touch down, bring it over to the other side, and then same deal as lift, as hips and chest lifts, we're just going to backstroke with the right arm. Hips touch down, knees fall to the right, hands come down to frame the right knee. Bring it to our tabletop pose. Hands below shoulders, knees below hips. Neutral spine. And on your inhale, bring this over so I can actually see the chat, which is helpful. There we go. All right. On the inhale, belly drops, hips and chest rise for cow pose. And exhaling, round in the spine, chin tucks in towards chest, pressing into the space between the shoulder blades, cat pose. Inhaling through the nose, belly drops. arching in the spine. I press my hands down and back, knees down and forward, like I'm trying to scrunch the floor together to get a deeper arch in the spine. And on the exhale, I really actively pull belly button in towards spine, pressing the hands down and forward, knees down and back, like I'm trying to spread the ground apart to get a deeper rounding in the back. Go at your own pace here, inhaling through cow, exhaling through cat, calibrating to your own body's breath. Remember to take your time through these transitions from edge to edge. So the pose doesn't just begin when you're in that final fullest expression. It begins as you're entering, as you're transitioning from one position to the other. Next time you exhale through cat pose, no rush to get there. Really rounding in the spine, really exhaling all air from the body. And release to neutral. Take a deep breath in. Sigh it out. All right, we'll take a step forward with the right foot. Left foot steps up to meet it. Walk your feet out to the edges of the mat. Now I'm just going to rearrange so that you can actually see what I'm doing. Oops. There we go. So, there we go. Better? Better. All right, here we are at the top of the mat. We'll walk our feet to the edges and just allow the toes to angle off. So I got my heels on the mat, my toes angled off at 45 degrees. And then I'm going to let my knees bend, hips drop low, and shoulders drop high, or draw up high. Then hips reach up towards the sky, head is heavy. So heavy hips, light head, deep squat. Light hips, heavy head, forward fold. So it's not my deepest fold or my deepest squat ever. I'm just waking my legs up to that motion and that shape. You can go at your own speed. If this is like making you lightheaded, slow it down. If you got a little bit more space to play, you can speed up. Sounds good, weird. Good luck moving in he's Somalian, right? Your new Somalian roommate. Tell him I say hi, he's invited to yoga tomorrow. All right, next time that your hips are up and head is heavy, into your forward fold, your knees can be a little or a lot bent. You can take your hands away from the ground. So remember, your knees can be bent if you're feeling a lot of tightness in your hamstrings or lower back. And here we'll give the head a nod, yes. Give the head a shake, no. Releasing tension from the neck by using the weight of the head and gravity. You can grab opposite elbows here for ragdoll, creating a frame for your head. Allow your torso to move side to side, forward and back, wherever might feel good, so that really what we're doing here is using the weight of the head to elongate the spine. So your knees can be as bent as necessary to make that happen. A little free movement here. Release the movement, release the hands back to the ground, heel toe, the feet together, big toes come to touch, a little space between the heels. Inhale to a halfway lift, hands on shins, crown of the head is reaching towards the front of the room, hips are reaching towards the back, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale rolls you all the way up to stand, rolling up one vertebra at a time. Heavy head comes up last. And the arms swing up when you get there. Exhale, hands to heart center, Tadasana mountain pose. We'll bring the right knee in towards the belly. So it's just floating up, knee in towards chest. It's called one-legged Tadasana. Arms come up overhead. When the exhale as the arms sweep back, we also tilt on the left hip. So head comes forward, right leg reaches back like the letter T. Bend in the left knee, hands can touch down, and our right foot touches down to the mat. So it's a runner's lunge. And we're just pressing back through the heel, giving the calf a bit of a stretch. If you don't feel a stretch in the calf here, maybe your knee's a little bent. Straighten it out by bringing the back of the knee towards the ceiling. 1. And we'll release the right knee down towards the mat. Untuck the toes. Now the shoelace part of the foot is pressed into the ground nice and strong. You can press that shoelace part of the foot into the ground so hard that the knee lifts. So giving the ankle a bit of a stretch, you can go from one position to the other, gently releasing knee down and then lifting knee up. So you should feel a deep stretch in that quadriceps, that front right thigh muscle. 3, 2, 1, and then release that knee down to the mat. Check in that your left knee is over your left ankle, so we're always trying to stack joints. And then we'll press the hands into the thigh to come upright. Pressing into that front left foot, you can shift the hips up and back for more of like a marriage proposal type stable positioning. And then we're going to sink the hips forward and down. So see my hips go up and back. Hips sink forward and down. Still, maybe bell bottoms were a bad idea. Still the knee stays over the ankle. If that's not happening for you, as you shift forward, the knee goes past the ankle, bring the right knee further back. That's too far for me, but further back. So hand can stay on the thigh for stability. Just got 2 more like this. Pressing into the stretch and pressing away. So notice there's a tilt in the hips as well. As I sink the hips forward, I'm letting an interior tilt. That's like, imagine if your hips were a teacup. An interior tilt is like the tea spills out of the front side of the cup. Tilt. Back to neutral. Tilt. Neutral. Alright, we're pressing into this tilt on Janayasana, but since we're holding it now, what we're going to try to do is bring my hips back to neutral. How do I do that? I suck in the belly to tilt the hips. So I'm engaging the lower abdominal muscles, and you'll feel an even deeper stretch on that right thigh here. I'm pressing into the front foot. Arms sweep up overhead. And on the exhale, high twist to the left. Left arm sweeps back, right arm sweeps forward. So I'm reaching here with fingertips and I'm breathing fully. Option here to bring hands to heart center, Anjali Mudra, that prayer pose, and you can even hook the right elbow with the left knee. So I'm pressing outside of my knee with the outside of my elbow. And now with this leverage, or this point of tension, I can use it as leverage to bring my chest towards my hands. So my hands aren't going to get to my chest because my forearms are going to stay this length and there's nothing to change that, which means the spine must twist to bring the chest towards the hands. Still working on this deep belly breathing, even in the contortion of a twist. So what happens is different parts of the torso and the back and rib cage are enticed to expand to compensate for the contortion of the twist. Option here to tuck the right toes under and then extend that leg straight. So now we're in this high lunge twist. Either variation with back knee up or down is just beautiful. Then we're going to reverse. If your knee is down, you can go through the same arm movements. We bring the shoulders up, right, arms open like the letter T, bring it back through center. If your back toes haven't tucked under yet, tuck them under now. Meet us here in this high lunge. Right heel touches down. Left arm sweeps up. Right arm sweeps under. Humble warrior. And exhale, hands come down parallel to the ground. Extend the left leg straight. Tip the hips to the left, reaching through the left fingertips. Drop the left hand towards that bottom left calf, and the right arm reaches up towards the sky for triangle pose. Trikonasana, we just got a breath here. And inhale, reverse triangle, left arm towards the sky. Exhale, bend in the front knee, cartwheel the arms down to the ground, and step the left foot back to meet the right in plank pose. Straight line from the heels to the crown of the head, deep breath in. You can roll onto your tiptoes. And exhale, lower down halfway. Elbows don't go past 90 degrees. Tops of the feet flip. And we press through for upward facing dog. Tops of the feet are into the ground so hard that the knees stay lifted. Or alternately, the hips touch down, then we bring the hands a little bit forward and bend in the elbows for Bhujangasana, Cobra Pose. Full breath here in either variation. And toes tuck under, hips press up high for downward facing dog. Step the feet in, finding the spacing that works for you. Fingers are spread wide, head hangs heavy in between. You can pedal out the feet here, and a little bilateral comparison. You can just observe the difference between left and right hip, left and right leg. Right, so we can make these observations without judgment. So how can we make comparisons without emotional judgment? Almost like a scientist observing an experiment. There's no need to emotionally call something better or worse or anything like that. It's more so, it can be like more open or tighter, just observing so that it can inform our next moves as we even out the body through the practice. So deep breath in, lifting high up on the tiptoes. You can exhale through the mouth, releasing the heels towards the ground regardless of if they touch. One more like that. We'll reach the right leg up and back behind you towards the back wall. exhaling, knee in towards nose, rounding in the spine, leg through cat pose. Coming onto the left tiptoes, roll the body forward until shoulders are up over the wrists, and the right foot steps up between the hands. So this tiger's pose. Hola! Hi, Sammy Yoga. Hi, Mom. Then the left foot steps up to meet it. Big toes come to touch. Inhale to a halfway lift, hands on shins. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale rolls you up one vertebra at a time. Heavy head comes up last. Arms sweep up when you get there. Exhale, hands to heart center. Nice. All right. Take a moment here and let's just check in. So we're going to even out on the other side. I just want to check in because it's a little bit fiery. Let's take a sip of water and see how everyone's doing. If you're in the flow, don't worry. We're we're getting right back to it. You don't have to type in or anything. Just gauging the room. Yeah, seems like everyone's okay. No complaints. All right, let's get back to it. So I'm going to face the back of the mat, but you can do whatever works for you. Just that way I can still be facing you when we're doing all the twists and whatnot. Does that make sense? No, I'm not. I lied. I'm going to still face the front. It'll work. Okay. So here we are meeting. Oh, I did the thing. Meeting at the top of the mat. Big toes come to touch. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. And exhale as hands come down to heart center. Left knee bends and floats in towards the chest. One-legged Tadasana. Here we'll bring the arms up overhead. And as you exhale, the arms can sweep back. As the leg sweeps back for Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3, making the letter T with the body. And gently bend in the right knee. Hands can touch down to the ground or blocks, and the left foot touches down. Bending nice and gentle. And here we're pressing the heel back and forth, giving the left calf a bit of a stretch. Remember, if you're not feeling a stretch there, really extend that leg straight, back of the knee towards the ceiling. H. Jones, nice belly. Thanks. It is nice. So we're pressing it back, giving the calf a bit of a stretch here. Press, press, press. And we'll gently release the left knee down to the mat. Check in with your alignment. Knee over ankle. Untuck the left toes. I'm just like really light on the fingertips here. Barely any weight's going into there. It's more for balance. As I press the back shoelace part of the foot into the ground, the knee can lift up off the mat. So we're lifting the knee up and down, giving the left thigh a stretch here. Still you're breathing fully. Strengthening also the muscles around the ankle. 2 and 1. All right, so we'll gently release the knee to the mat, and then hands can come onto the right thigh. Remember, just checking in, knees over ankle, and we'll bring the chest up over the hips. So from here, we'll bring the hips up for that like marriage proposal type pose, and then sink the hips down and forward. So we're bringing the hips up and back, and then bringing the hips down and forward. giving that stretch to the hip flexor and front left thigh. If this back knee is beginning to bother you, just bring even more cushion to it. You can double up your mat or place a towel below it. Thanks, Bodhi, I love you. It's all like part of that interaction. Nothing like a good mod. Alright, so, like I said, the hips are tilting forward, and an anterior tilt like your hips are a teacup. They tilt forward as you come forward and down, and then they level out as you come up. Forward, giving the hip flexor a stretch, and then they tilt back up. Alright, this last time that we press forward and down for our Anjaneyasana, our low lunge. Here we are with the hips tilted forward, and now we're going to pull in the lower abdominal muscles to try and tilt the hips back to neutral. So that might mean you're not in the deepest stretch, or rather your deepest positioning in it, but you're actually in a deeper stretch by tilting the hips back a bit. You should feel it right here. Arms sweep up on the inhale. And exhale, shoulders just melt away. Another deep breath in here. And the exhale is a high twist to the right. Left hand's reaching forward, right hand's reaching back. Option here to bring the hands to heart center, palms pressed together in Anjali Mudra, and the right elbow can hook on the left elbow might hook on the right knee. And I'm using that pressure point of contact between elbow and knee to twist the spine, bringing the chest closer to the prayer hands. Option here to tuck the left toes under and extend that leg back. So I'm straightening up the leg, lifting the knee. Now I'm in a high lunge twist. You can keep the back leg down if you'd like, and you'll be in a low lunge twist. Still getting the benefit in the spine. Here in the high lunge twist, we're just working on a bit more of the leg stability. And takes a bit more strength too. That last breath here. And then like pressing rewind in the upper body, we bring the arms up to the letter T. Arms come forward for a lunge. If you're in a low lunge, tuck your back toes under now. Meet us here in the high lunge. Drop the left heel down. Arms open up parallel to the ground, warrior two. Then right arm sweeps up overhead, left arm sweeps in front for reverse warrior, humble warrior. And exhale, hands come parallel, extend the right leg straight. We'll drop the right hip. Left hip pops up, reaching through the right fingertips, and the right hand drops down for Trikonasana triangle pose. Bottom hand pressed into the calf muscle. Using that leverage, we keep the left arm straight towards the sky. Trikonasana triangle pose. Just giving that full inner right leg a nice deep stretch. Full breath here. And reverse triangle. Right arm reaches up towards the sky. And exhale, bend in the right knee, hands cartwheel down to the ground, step the right foot back to meet the left. For plank pose, straight line from the heels to the crown of the head. Deep breath in brings you onto tiptoes. Exhale lowers you down halfway, chaturanga. Option to drop the knees here. Then toes tuck under, chest presses forward for upward facing dog. We're squeezing in the glutes to protect the lower back, pressing the chest forward. Or option for Bhujangasana, hips and knees on the ground, and we keep the elbows bent. Full breath here. Toes tuck under, hips press up high for downward facing dog. And step the feet in to find the spacing that works best for you. Allow the head to be heavy. You can pedal out the heels, bending one knee and then the other. by dropping both heels to one side and then the other for a side stretch. And back to center. Fingers are spread wide, eyes stay open. Gaze between the toes and between the knees. Left leg sweeps up and back behind you towards the wall. Deep breath in here. Exhale, tiger's pose. Rounding in the spine, knee comes in towards nose. Lift the belly out of the way. Lift onto right tiptoes, bringing shoulders up over the wrists. Left foot steps up between the hands. Right foot steps up between the hands. Big toes come to touch. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale rolls you all the way up to stand. Arms sweep up when you get there. And exhale, hands to heart center. Nice. We'll turn to face one another. Grab a sip of tea or a sip of water. Bodhi, my champion. All right. So here we are. Let's face one another. If you weren't already facing me, hands come onto hips. So just roll out the right ankle. So this coach online, I think it was while I was running, I heard, and he said something that was super poignant and super yoga, even though it wasn't a yoga class. So let the right knee open out to the side, and I wrote it down because I was like, I need to bring that into class, that concept. Drag the foot in towards the ankle. Hands can be on the hips here for your tree pose. So I'm pressing the hips forward, keeping the knee open like a cabinet door swung open. Option here is the foot can come up to the calf. So the arch of the foot can be pressed into the arch of, or the rounding of the calf. We're not going into the knee at all because we don't want to mess with the ACL or anything like that. Or option here to bring the foot into the thigh. Either of those three options is totally valid. Vrikshasana, tree pose. Still the knees pressing out to the side and the hips are pressing forward. So if you can get up here but you can't let your hands go because if you did the foot would slip, you know you just need to press your foot into your leg even stronger. He said that stability is not given to any human being. It's fought for, it's won, it's built up. Even when we're children, we can't, or infants, you can't even lift your head or walk. All of it is a struggle for every single one of us. And that continues. If we're not actively building stability in our lives, in our bodies, it won't naturally appear and it cannot be gifted to us by another. So often when we end up in these balancing poses, they can be incredibly frustrating. You can feel like, why can't I do this? Or I should already be good at this, or I hate this part, let me just skip this part. And I just want to bring to your attention that stability is practiced, it's fought for, it is by every single person. So we get to practice it here together, kind of in the form of a game. Alright, let's gently release this leg down to the mat. We'll roll out this left ankle. So we get to practice it here in this game called yoga class. Sunday morning yoga class in this space called a yoga mat, where the stakes are very, very low. We're just making shapes with our body. Alright. Left knee opens out to the side, drag the foot in. So foot pressing into the ankle, this is a beautiful place to be. You can be lifting the foot just a bit so that the toes are just hovering off the ground. This is a completely valid form of tree pose. This is like what I would practice at the grocery store when I was waiting online, or waiting at the coffee shop. Back when we used to go outside and not just shop online for everything. Or maybe the foot comes up to the calf. maybe the foot comes into the inner thigh. Remember, the knee is facing out to the side. It's like you're between two panes of glass, like a paper doll. Right, so the knee's not coming forward or anything like that. No, no. I'm pressing into the inner thigh of a standing leg, not the top. Squeezing in together. The hands do what works for you. So sometimes it's like a little bit of movement, but too much movement is going to cause momentum, and momentum is not really your friend in yoga. Often it'll make us overshoot or overcompensate and fall to one side, or alternately it'll make a pose easier, or the transition into the pose. It'll expedite the transition into the next pose, and then we don't build up the small stabilizing muscles to get us there in a slow and steady progression. There's no skipping steps in yoga. There is, but not without injury or repercussion. So we do things slowly with ease and grace, also with frustration and sweat. However, we do our best not to use momentum and instead to use breath and slow progression. So we just got one more breath here in our Vrikshasana tree pose. We'll release that foot down to the mat. All right. Oh, this next song is not a good shaking song. So. This one? Yeah, this will work. Okay, cool. So here we are for our lymphatic shake. What does that even mean? We're going to lift the heels and then drop them. So the knees are bent to create a jiggle, like a shake. You can also like bring a whole jump to it, take up some space. If you've got the space, if you've got the energy today, any day that I have the energy, I like go for it. But if not, just here is just great where you want to be. I like lifting my shoulders and letting them drop nice and heavy, because I have noticed that I carry a lot of tension up in my neck and upper shoulders, so I just give it a little lift and let it naturally drop down. So what's lymphatic shaking? Why do we do it? Think of it this way. The lymphatic system in your body helps carry toxins and waste out of the body. However, unlike the heart, or rather unlike the circulatory system that has a heart, a pump that helps push through that liquid, that material through the body, the lymph doesn't have a heart. So it only gets drained and refreshed through movement. And I was just saying, we don't really use momentum in yoga, at least not in the beginning. So the movements that we're doing are not very shaky. I think this is an important part to add into your daily practice if you're doing yoga like the one we practice here throughout the week. Slow and steady is the name of the game. Lymphatic shaking just brings a little more heat, maybe a lot more heat, and a lot more movement. So we're just like a whole body jiggle. Helps relieve tension. It's also been proven to lower chronic pain in patients that have like fibromyalgia. And that's basically because this shaking disrupts the pain receptors in between the body and the brain. So we're actually disrupting patterns in our nervous system and kind of resetting them, or helping to reset some of them, right? So the idea is just to keep going here. You're starting to get tired, just remember, you're just lifting and dropping the heels. So you're using gravity and weight to work with you here. Oh, that's so cool. I never knew that. Yeah, I dug up my notes from training so that I could speak more confidently about the science behind lymphatic shaking, because I knew all of the, I know a bunch of the benefits, but I was like, oh, I really don't want to misquote anything, so let me make sure this is actually backed up. Yep. So we wanted to do it for about 3 minutes. Don't worry, we're well past the 2-minute mark. Just keep it going. If you have a little sweat leaning up or gathering up, that's all good. And you can be exhaling through the mouth here. I know we've been just breathing in and out through the nose this whole time, but here we get to really let it go. Oh, I love you. All right, 3, 2, 1. All right, we've got another ingredient, another technique for our letting go practice. I think daily letting go is as important, maybe more important, than manifesting. That's just me, hot take. So, what does it look like? It's called breath of joy. It's 3 sips of air in through the nose, consecutive, no exhale. And a big ha through the mouth. Arms sweep back. So, it looks like inhale, inhale, arms sweep out, inhale, arms sweep forward, and a big ha, arms sweep back. We've got about 10 of those, so just check in that you're not going to hit the wall or any furniture. Clear, clear, clear. Feet nice and wide, stable stance. In, ha, in, ha, in, ha, 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 ha. 3 more if you haven't joined in yet. Now's your chance. Ha, ha. Last one, make it count. Ha. Hand on your belly, hand on your heart. Feet nice and wide, eyes can close. Oh, happy early Easter celebration with the kids. Love you. Bye, Linda. All right, eyes can close. Let's just take a moment here to arrive, to observe what was created. Taking your body like a snow globe and giving it a righteous shake. And now we stop to observe what was shifted. Where did that glitter dust settle? What was revealed? What shows up for you when you let yourself jiggle, when you let yourself take up space, let yourself yell? Or what shows up as resistance to stop you from fully participating? Not good or bad, not right or wrong, just something to notice. Gently blink the eyes open and take a sip of water, towel off any sweat. And if you're already on the ground, you just stay there, we'll meet you. And if not, you can come down with me. We'll meet at the back of the mat. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to a halfway lift. And exhale, bend in the knees deep, 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 so deep that you come to seated. All right, feet come together, knees splay apart for our Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. You can give feet a little bit of a massage here, just releasing any tension, a little self-love. All right, and then grabbing a nice good grip on the ankles or the shins. Sit up nice and tall, deep breath in. And exhale, we'll hinge forward from the hips. Elbows pressing into the knees. You can use that grip on the ankles as leverage. And it's like I'm trying to get my chest to my feet. Shoulders are relaxed away from the ears. You can use this pressure into the knees to help open the hips. But if your hips are happy where they are and they don't feel like being super stretched out, you can just bring your arms forward and just allow this to be a spinal stretch. So, am I pressing my knees down towards the ground? Yes. Is my goal to get my knees to the ground? No. My goal is to get to where the edge is in my hips, to that deep stretch part that's intense, but not so intense that it takes my breath away. I'm just letting the breath do the work here. Let breath and gravity do the work. The body's going to respond more positively to that than to force. And back to breathing in and out through the nose if that's available. And a last deep breath here. Bring it back up to seated. Knees come up to center. We'll shift it forward just a bit. Hands come behind the knees. And then tilting back for our Urdhva Navasana, upward facing boat pose. Trying to bring my shins parallel to the ground and keep my spine nice and tall. So I'm just keeping my chest lifted. Deep breath in here. And exhale, release the hands. Inhale, sustain. And exhale, open up this ankle just a bit, straightening out the legs a bit. Inhale to sustain. Exhale, open up the ankle just a bit more. Inhale to sustain. Exhale to open up a bit more. Inhale, sustain. And exhale, release it all the way. Arms reach up overhead, full body stretch. Toes point, fingers reach. Nice. And then hugging the knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a little rock side to side. And the knees will fall over to the right. Nice and gentle. Stacking left hip over right hip. Right hand on top of the left knee. And the left arm opens up like the letter T. And press this left shoulder blade down to the ground, even if it means the knees lift a bit. The gaze can be over this extended left arm to complete the spinal twist, Supta Matsyendrasana. The rest of the body's totally relaxed. I'm just letting the breath and gravity do the work here. head come up through center, let the knees come up through center, and gently release the knees over to the left. Right arm opens up like the letter T, and we'll press the right shoulder down to the ground. So I'm not pulling or grabbing or anything like that with this left hand. I'm just placing it on top, kind of holding it in place, but it's pretty passive. Really the only effort here is this right shoulder pressing to the ground. And the gaze can even look over that extended right arm for a supine spinal twist, Supta Matsundrasana. So like I said before, we're letting breath and gravity do the work. Sometimes that can be like the most challenging poses mentally or emotionally, because we believe that our body should be putting in more effort towards the progression of the posture, the position. And what the position actually calls for, what the circumstance actually calls for, is a little space and surrender, which can be scary to practice even in something as frivolous as a yoga class. So that's just my invitation to you. When given the opportunity to practice surrender, take it. Bring the head back up through center. Bring the knees back up through center. And just notice, is there any last wiggle or twist or pose that your body is asking for? And just allow yourself a little free movement, a little couple moments of play to move through that. Doesn't have to have a fancy yoga name. Can literally be anything at all. All class, all day, we tell our body what to do, and now we just ask back. Is there anything left that would help make this practice feel complete, satisfying, as we work our way towards Shavasana, final relaxation pose. Thank you. Namaste. All right. Cool. So as we make our way to Shavasana, our final relaxation pose, you can extend the legs down the length of the mat. Feet come nice and wide, maybe at least a foot apart, and the legs are so relaxed that the feet naturally splay open to the sides. So I know some of you practice in a chair. You can still do Shavasana, just seated, just like how we do in our beginning grounding pose is a good model. Shoulders tuck under to support the chest, and arms released down by the sides, palms face open to the sky, a symbol, a mudra of receptivity. Allow yourself to receive the full benefits of your effort here today. Eyes close or rest at a gentle gaze up towards the sky if that's more comfortable for you. If this brings any pain to your lower back, bend in the knees, feet come nice and wide, knees knocked together, and you can always lift the hips, give them a tuck to elongate the lumbar spine, the lower back. For broken bridge pose, you're just allowing the hips to touch down, so there's no muscular effort here at all. That should relieve any tension in the lower back. Traditionally, it's with the legs down the length of the mat, but you do what works for your body. I'm going to come up to seated so that I can lead you through this meditative practice. But you stay laying down or seated with your eyes closed as suits you. So Shavasana is all about integration. Taking all of the work and effort that you've put in. And allowing it to sink into your bones, sink into your psyche even. We'll start this just as we did our grounded sitting meditation with 3 cleansing breaths. in through the nose, and an audible sigh out through the mouth. The shoulders just stay relaxed this time. And allow the breath to continue in and out through the nose if that's available. Inviting your exhalations to become longer and deeper than your inhalations. Invite space between top and bottom teeth. And the tongue falls away from the roof of the mouth. And space between the eyebrows broadens as all the muscles in the forehead relax. The muscles surrounding the ears, the back of the head, release. Neck and throat, relax. Shoulders melt away. Upper arms and elbows, relax. Forearms and wrists, rest. Palms, backs of the hands, knuckles, fingers, fingertips, whole hands alive with vibration. Whole hands alive with creative potential. Rest and integrate all that you practice. Upper back, middle and lower back, relax. Chest and belly naturally rise and fall with the breath. Pelvis, glutes, and hips rest heavy. Thighs and knees melt away. Shins, calves, and ankles relax. Heels, arches, toe ball mounds, tops of the feet, and all of the toes rest. Whole body rests. Whole body rests. Whole body rests. in your mind, if even for just one moment, when there was silence in that inner dialogue, notice if in your breath there's ease. Notice if in your body the places of tension have found space. The places of restlessness have found peace. Allow for everything that did and did not happen in class today. And know that in yoga, practice makes practice. Nothing more and nothing less. And gently invite your inhalations to deepen, become longer than your exhalations as fingers begin to wiggle and toes begin to curl. Head can gently rock side to side. And arms reach up overhead for a full body stretch. And let the knees bend and roll over to whichever side feels natural. Landing in a fetal position, you can use that bottom arm as a pillow. Fully released and fully supported by the ground below you. Bring to mind any intention or dedication you set for class. And if that intention inspires you, take it with you off the mat and into the world. Allow it to affect you and the people around you for the rest of your day. With eyes still closed or gently lowered, press your hands into the ground to come up to a seated position, just like how we started class. Hands come to meet at heart center, palms pressed together in Anjali Mudra. Today we practiced kind of a fiery class, a leg strengthening class around the concept of building stability and strength in the body. The first namaste is said silently to yourself, thanking your body for the effort it put into class. And the second namaste is said out loud to the community that held this space. Namaste. Thank you, thank you, thank you to everyone who joined me today. I appreciate you, and to everyone who practiced alongside or listened in. I hope you found something that serves you. Namaste, Bodhi. Namaste, Sammy Yoga. Thank you for dropping the tips information in the chat, Bodhi. Namaste, Papa Mario. Yes, so tips are always appreciated, never required, but you do get a private link to the recording of class where everything is timestamped, so you can go to your favorite parts of class, your lymphatic shaking, your breath of joy, either of the meditations, and of course all the movement. So yeah, I can't believe it's the last Sunday of March. As we head into April, I think I'm gonna keep this test experiment going with this schedule of Sunday, Monday, Wednesday. I'm open to feedback. I like Sundays at this time. It works really well for me. I'm liking Monday at this time too, but I'm open to DMs or in the chat or whispers or text messages about other times that people wish I was teaching or would prefer me to teach for that third class. But for now, let's keep it Wednesday and see how it goes. It feels weird not being here every morning, but I think it's probably better for my like mental health to do some yoga just for myself instead of like always speaking it out loud into existence. And also like take other classes. Not that yoga studios, I think yoga studios actually might be open in my area, but I'm not vaccinated. I don't think most people in my area are vaccinated in San Diego, so I'm just kind of, I think I'm holding off until summer before I like IRL do things with, I don't know. That being said, there's other like awesome Twitch streamers here, so I've been like checking out their classes and stuff on my off days, and I have some friends who teach online on Zoom too, so yeah, like I said, I'm open to feedback, and I am down to and searching for the option that works for everyone, myself included. So, what do we want to do? It looks like Swiss is on. So he's not a fitness streamer. He like takes you on a tour of Switzerland, like where he lives. He's always in the chat. So should we go? We should go raid him, I think. Because we raided sets and reps earlier. We could do Musa Boot too. That's like really strong, masculine, like jack dudes that what's it called? That I don't know, I follow or follow me that I'm always kind of rating. So Professor Panda's on. But let's raid Swiss because I feel like he always brings a raid parade over here. You know? Swiss_R. Mature audiences. Oh my goodness, what does that even mean? Alright, I'm a little worried. No, I'm not worried. I'm sure it's completely fine. I'm sure it's just language or something. I can't even imagine him using foul, to be honest, using foul language. So no, I'm sure it's totally fine. Just travel and outdoors. I bet he's just giving a tour of like a bakery or something. Bye guys, I love you so much. Definitely look forward to speaking to you all soon. Have a great week if you're at work all week. And if not, I'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. All right. Love.